Coach Helke here. This is the basic overview to familiarize yourself with overall proper hitting form and techniques. Again, this is a basic overview, and we're going to look at three players in depth first. So obviously the first one we're looking at here is McCutchen. We're going to use a back view to start with. If you notice, as he first starts to load, his weight shifts back, and in his load there is no pre-step. You step to hit the ball. It's one solid motion. You don't step, then hit the ball. So again, there's no pre-step. Hitting is in rhythm. You don't break that rhythm. It's one fluid motion. So that's the first thing we're going to observe. The next thing we're going to look at is, once he starts his movement, his weight back, I want you to watch. His back shoulders are slightly higher than his front shoulders. But as he moves, he's not moving his hands. He's starting to load. And look at his shift. Look at his shoulders twist. He's actually loading back. So his hands move with his shoulders as he loads. His chin almost basically rests on his front shoulder at that point. And again, his back shoulder is slightly higher than his front shoulder. So from this, we're going to look at, you see the cocking of the shoulders. The next thing I want you to watch, his back elbow and his waist. As he does his front heel plant, look at that elbow. His hands aren't moving. The back elbow starts to move into position to be tucked, and he's twisting at the waist. So that's the first thing. It's not the hands moving. Alright? What most people make a mistake of, that they start moving their hands, it's quite frankly is an illusion. Because as you come through here and look, I want you to look at this circle. Right here. Look at the distance. Look how he stays in one perfect position. He's actually just twisting, bringing that elbow down and in. And now if you look also, his shoulders, his back shoulder is now lower than his front shoulder. So the front shoulder is coming up with the elbow in the front. The back elbow is coming down, which brings the back shoulder, which is going to bring the bat in plane with the ball. But if you look, he's not throwing, the knob of the bat at the ball or throwing his hands at the ball. Again, it's an illusion. This is where most make a mistake. The natural movement of the hips and shoulders, that's what makes it look like he's moving his hands, but they're really only moving as a result of his hips and shoulders that are moving. So look right here, when he's about parallel, that bat is still about the same distance from his shoulders, right there, as it was back up in here. What happens is, at this point, momentum starts that bat moving, and your hands start moving the bat towards the ball. Now you start getting that whip action. That's why you want a strong core. A lot of people work when your swing is really starting with your lower body in the core, and it works its way up. So as you look through this, as he comes through and hit, the elbow's still tucked. And when he's making contact, now look at the difference here. Shoulders have changed places. Front shoulders up, back shoulders down. The main reason is elbow under here is tucked, and you can't see, and you'll see in the other one, the front elbow is actually up. So as he comes through, you see it whips right through there, and he makes contact. That's where you get your power. Now let's look at something else. He does stand pretty straight up and down. But you're going to watch for most batters, as they come up, and they get ready to load, here he is, standing straight up. Now watch how he changes his angle here in his body. Here comes the ball. Shoulders load. Now all of a sudden, look at this angle he's in. His body is now angled. Now the other thing I want you to watch his head. In this angle, in his head, nothing is moving. He keeps the angle, and his head stays still. That's another big mistake a lot of people make. Their head dances all around. So as you see, as he comes through, look where that head stays. That's just training and continue working on it. But you got to understand that part of it first. The other part we're going to look at here at the very end, if it's going to be tough to see, but let's move forward here just a bit. And I want you to look, and you'll see it in the next video. His back foot. As he makes contact, look where he goes. He's on his toe. He's not squashing a bug or anything of that nature. All your hitters, they do not squash a bug. Their foot, they get up on their toe, and actually some of them move forward or actually pick it up a little bit off the ground at contact. And lastly, if you look, he finishes high. And you'll see in the next one, he is not on his front foot. He's actually leaning back. And that's where you see the back foot now. Looks like he's squashing a bug, but he's not. So now we're going to get a side view of the next two, which is going to be Beltre and Trout.